Missouri ranks last in national road safety across the country.
I'm live in Osage County with new information of a deadly crash between a car and a truck.
Plus, an MU student takes his photography business to the sky. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now.
New information tonight on a deadly crash in Osage County. We've learned a woman has died after she drove her car into a truck. Good evening. I'm Emily Spain.
And I'm Jim Rake. Thanks for joining us. The crash happened just north of Bell on Highway 89. KOMU 8's David Rothschild is live with the latest on that crash.
I'm here along Highway 89 where the crash happened. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says the woman who died was 53-year-old Alicia Wood of Bell. I spoke with the man off camera who survived the crash, and he says that he was headed north on Highway 89 when Woods' car, headed in the opposite direction, started drifting into his lane. He says he tried driving off the road but wasn't able to avoid the oncoming car in time. Wood was alone in her car, and Highway Patrol says she wasn't wearing her seatbelt. Officials pronounced her dead at the scene. The man driving the truck appeared to have no serious injuries. Reporting live from Osage County, David Rothschild, KOMU 8 News.
In a National Safety Council report on road, home, and workplace safety, Missouri is in last place. KOMU 8's Ben Brady is live on I-70 with details why Missouri ranked so low, particularly on road safety.
That's right, Jim. 15 people died on Missouri roads this past Thanksgiving weekend. The latest casualties in what the National Safety Council says is a problematic situation in the state. There have been 822 fatal crashes so far this year in Missouri. In the Safety Council's report, they cited 932 fatal crashes from last year that could have been prevented with the right legislation. Currently, Missouri does not have a primary seatbelt law. However, Missouri does have a texting and driving ban for drivers under the age of 21, but is still one of only 3 states without an all-driver texting ban.
We need to get the public on board. We need a culture change in the state. So, as I said, 947 people killed last year, and we seem too complacent with that. It's not a big deal. It's the equivalent of 3 jumbo jets crashing and everyone dying on board every year.
Jones said in 63 to 65% of crashes involving victims inside the cars, the people were not wearing a seatbelt. Reporting live in Columbia, Ben Brady, KOMU 8 News.
A man involved in a deadly shooting earlier this year will stay in federal custody as he awaits a trial on a federal gun charge. Rick Gurley is accused of being a felon in possession of a firearm. He pleaded not guilty in federal court today. Witnesses say he shot and killed Cameron Carruthers earlier this year at a Columbia home. He has not been charged or arrested for that death, but prosecutors and police have said this federal gun charge is related to the Carruthers homicide.
Here's what's happening right now. A brush fire in Audrain County is now out after it crossed a set of tracks earlier today. The fire brought 2 freight trains to a halt near County Road 215 and Highway 22. That's right in between Mexico and Centralia. Joining us now live is KOMU 8's Matt Schmidtdeal with the latest on the fire.
I'm live here in Audrain County, where crews are still watching over the remaining of the brush fire. The fire crossed over one set of tracks and held up 2 trains for over 2 hours. The fire is now contained, and those trains headed out about an hour and a half ago. As you can see a little bit, the embers are still behind me. A couple piles of tires are still burning, and crews say those tires could burn for 2 to 3 days. Crews hope that a rain comes in so they don't have to keep watching out here the whole time. Reporting here live in Audrain, Matt Schmidtdeal, KOMU 8 News.
Columbia parents are questioning how they found out about a student bringing a loaded gun to school yesterday. A student told the bus driver a 13-year-old had the gun. The bus driver then called police. KOMU 8's Sydney Olson is here in the studio with parent and school reaction.
We spoke with one Smithton Middle School parent who had some concerns about the way he was notified about the incident yesterday. He said he received an email about the incident later in the day after it occurred, but would have rather gotten a text message at the time of the event. The school sent text alerts to parents whose children were on that particular bus, then sent an email to other parents outlining what happened. According to district policy, the school may send alerts via text message, email, and/or phone calls. The concerned parent says on top of wanting to get a text, he would have liked to see more details included in the email.
The initial response was a bit of panic and confusion at the same time. We got the email, and it was later after the school day, obviously, but there didn't seem to be any talk about whether it was a real gun, a toy gun, a fake gun. just kind of left us wondering.
The 13-year-old student was taken into custody for felony unlawful use of weapons and was later released to the juvenile office. Under district policy, the punishment for bringing a firearm onto school property can be 1 calendar year of expulsion. In the studio, Sydney Olson, KOMU 8 News.
Missouri residents will have extra time to comply with a new federal ID law. The Department of Revenue announced today it got a temporary waiver to allow state residents until October 2018 to get approved IDs. Without the waiver, people without the proper IDs would not have been able to board planes starting in January. The state hopes to have the IDs ready in the next year and a half. Well, it's another mild day out there. Barely needed a jacket, but that's about to change. Here's Kenton with a look at the forecast.
Emily, thank you very much. Definitely was another warm one out there today. Temperature is about 20 degrees above average for this time of year. We're still at 60 in Columbia, 66 in Jefferson City, 60 over in Versailles, and Sedalia is at 61. Some 50s, so starting to roll in. 56 in Moberly and Paris and Mexico. 51 actually in Macon already at this point. We have a cold front that's already pushed through, so all of our winds are from the north, around 15 miles an hour sustained. And for the rest of our evening, we're going to keep this cloud cover. Temperatures continue to cool into the lower 50s, and we'll be in the 40s as you start off the day tomorrow. Then we're at 56 degrees here on Wednesday, and we are going to have a lot of cloud cover tomorrow. Still wind gusts around 25 miles an hour, maybe even a few sprinkles as we head into Wednesday evening. But by Thursday, we'll start to see that cloud cover decrease. We're at 55 for our high temperature there. And then we're starting to warm up a bit more for the weekend. We have a lot of sunshine there, too. I'll detail the full forecast hour by hour, talk about those rain chances, what we might see. That's all coming up later in the show.
Kenton, thank you very much. Business looking good for an MU student. He's taking his photography skills to the sky. That's after weather.